world? So there's a weird noise outside my house. Could it be? Are they coming for me finally? Luckily I have a camera that looks out there. No, unless they're choppers. Either choppers or no tailpipe. Sound similar, look different. All right, well, we'll go on with it then. Listen, so we're talking about the use of racial slurs today, and I am voluntarily, by choice, resigning myself to not using these words anymore. I wanted to make them playful. I wanted to continue this escapade of overuse for desensitization so that we didn't feel them anymore. But you know, they're going to be felt. And I hope that over the course of the next few centuries in America and worldwide, but especially in America, that race becomes less and less important. I hope it happens. But I can't be sure that's going to be the case. And because we need to go ahead and give these words their historical markers in history, give them something to live on, I think it would be a bad idea to continue to muddy the meaning. It's not fair to history. I mean, what if we just started calling everybody who ever was in MMA Spartans? And that went worldwide. I mean, wouldn't it take away something from what Spartans really meant? I mean, this is a tough issue for me because I believe in freedom of speech, but I also believe in class. And except for my comedy is decidedly without class, and that's the way it's going to continue to be. But I'm not going to use these words anymore. And we're talking about why today. We're talking a little bit about how other people feel about it. This nation today is in a state of racial unrest. It was quiet for a while. It had a couple of peaks pop up. Now it's on the rise. This unrest is on the rise. And I'm going to go ahead and play something that Richard Pryor said about it. Now, I think at this time he was over in Africa. And it's just a couple of minute clip, and then we're going to follow that with a CNN panel with 2 white people and 2 black people, or Don Lemon, I guess he's biracial. I think I'm just judging from my experience. He looks biracial. Is he? I don't know. But maybe that's a sign of my own inherent bigotry, seeing things and classifying them without a full scale data set in front of me about that individual. I don't know. That's worth looking into. I'll think about that. But for now, I want you to think about this.
One thing I got out of it was magic I'd like to share with you. It's like I was leaving and I was sitting in the hotel and a voice said to me, "Look around. What do you see?" And I said, "I see all colors of people doing everything, And the voice said, "Do you see any niggas?" And I said, "No." And I said, "You know why? Because there aren't any." And it hit me like a shot, man. I started crying and shit. I was sitting there, I said, "Yeah, I've been here 3 weeks. I haven't even said it. I haven't even thought it." And it made me say, "Oh my God, I've been wrong. I've been wrong. I got to regroup my shit." I said, I ain't gonna never call another black man a nigga. Because we never was no niggas. That's a word that's used to describe our own wretchedness. And we perpetuate it now because it's dead. That word's dead. We men and women, we come from the first people on the earth. The first people on the earth were black people. Because anthropologists, white anthropologists. So the white people go, "That could be true, Yeah, Dr. Leakey and them found remains 5 million years ago in Africa. Them motherfuckers didn't speak French. So black people, we the first people had thought, right? We was the first one to say, "Where the fuck am I? And how do you get to Detroit?" you can take it for what it's worth. I know, like, I ain't trying to preach nothing to nobody. I'm just talking about my feelings about it. And I don't want them hip white people coming up to me calling me no nigger or telling me nigger jokes. I don't like it. I'm just telling you, it's uncomfortable to me. I don't like it when black people say it to me. I really don't no more. It's nothing. It don't mean nothing. So I love y'all, and you take that with you. I guess y'all say.
So yeah, you had some truth slip out there. It was truth, but he also showed a little, what a psychiatrist might call a micro expression of don't come say nigger to me. Don't do it. I don't care what color you are. I don't like it. At the same time, and within the context of the same speech where he was saying the word means nothing, he came out and told you he doesn't like it. So it does mean something. It does mean something. Richard Pryor, I think he was high. I mean, looking at his behavior, knowing his history, looking into his eyes during that act. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what. High people don't tell the truth. Nah, that's not a safe assumption, my friends. So there's one more that we're going to listen to. And this is a CNN panel. And it is a panel of 4 people. And one is a white woman. One is a white man. One is a black man. And one is Don Lemon. And I think he's biracial. I don't know. I'm just serious. I mean, look at his color. I don't know. It looks like a perfect mix of black and white to me. So you tell me. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I want you to listen to how this conversation first starts in a sort of a sanitary way and then begins to descend a little bit into some chaos. And then it sort of auto-corrects itself, as the news is prone to do. Also, there was one guy on this panel, I think he teaches at Columbia, but I'm not sure what university he teaches. I know he teaches at one of the universities, Mark Lamont Hill. He was making faces as the white lady would speak. The white lady was, what was her name? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Wendy Walsh. And she wrote a book, if I can find it. I can't find the title of the book, but it was something about race. There's a lot of information here I'm looking over. So, and she has a biracial child. So I think the father is black. So she was a little confused on all this, on the use of the word nigga. Now let's see. And I got to give Don Lemon his props. When he gets into specialty areas, he tends to stumble. But on the general issues, he's pretty sharp. And he's good at driving a conversation. So we should give him credit for that. And let's listen to this panel. And it's a fairly long, this is like a 14-minute clip. But this needs to be heard by anybody who's interested in the message I'm trying to get across today. And maybe I'll interrupt it, and maybe I won't. I probably will. But we're going to play it. We're going to do it right now.
Okay, so I'm going to have a conversation now that may make some people very uncomfortable. It's a conversation, though, that we as a society need to have, and I hope you sit down, and I hope you watch the next part of this broadcast. It's about words, like some of these words here, this word, but mostly about this word. About the word, I'm going to say the word during this too, nigger, honky, cracker. These words can cause a visceral reaction when people hear them. You may have even flinched when I said them. But they played a pivotal role in 2 major stories this week, the George Zimmerman murder trial and the allegations around celebrity chef Paula Deen. It's a catalyst for an honest and difficult conversation. That's all we're trying to do here, is to get people to talk about it, okay? So we're going to have a discussion here without censorship, without code words, without awkwardness. And we've got a group of people to help drive this conversation. Buck Davis is a diversity and inclusion expert. Mark Lamont Hill is a professor at Columbia University. And human behavior expert Wendy Walsh. They've got a lot to say about this particular subject. But first, let's take a look at how we got here. This classic Saturday Night Live sketch ran unbleeped in 1975.
Jungle Bunny.
Peck of wood.
Birdhead.
Cracker.
But it probably wouldn't run today. Why? Have we lost our sense of humor?
what was so profound about that sketch wasn't just that they got away with using, let's say, the N-word and a lot of other racial slurs, but what that sketch really demonstrated was that certain slurs there are simply no trump cards for, and the N-word is one of them.
All over words, Paula Deen is losing her TV job and millions in endorsement money.
Inappropriate, hurtful language is totally unacceptable.
And the prosecution in the George Zimmerman murder trial could lose credibility, all because of the words a witness says Martin used to describe the man who shot him.
Creepy ass cracker?
Yes.
So it was racial, but it was Trayvon Martin put race in this.
No.
You don't think that's a racial comment?
No.
You don't think that creepy ass cracker is a racial comment?
No.
Is there really a difference between witness Rachel Gentile and Paula Deen's racism denials?
The difference is a difference of about 47 years. You know,
Anti-racism activist Tim Wise.
I think to expect a 19-year-old to know the history of a term like cracker, as opposed to a 66-year-old knowing the history of the N-word, is just a ridiculous comparison, obviously.
And did Martin bring race into it by using the term?
The problem with that argument is that, first of all, it's comparing, to be on point with this case, it's like comparing Skittles and a handgun. They simply don't have the same power.
Is he right? We took the words to the people on the street.
They're both derogatory and they're both racist, but it's just not the feeling I get inside from when I hear that word and when I hear the word is just different. You understand? I guess it's a psychological thing.
If someone were to call me a honky or a cracker, I don't think it would offend me as much as this word offends other people, and from my experience.
And if you hear other people saying this word or this word as opposed to that word, this still offends you more?
Yes.
Even if it's a black person calling a white person those words?
Yes.
Someone saying the N-word offends you more?
I'm being completely honest, yes.
Honesty just might be the answer, according to Columbia University professor Mark Lamont Hill, who says we shouldn't be censoring this SNL clip.
Spade! Hunky hunky! Nigger! Dead hunky!
I think we hurt ourselves as a community, as a country, as a group of people really trying to improve the racial circumstances in this nation by running from these words, by censoring these words, and by simply throwing people away as soon as they use them.
All right, so let's bring our panel in now. Buck Davis is in Atlanta, Mark Lamont Hill is in New York, and then Wendy Walsh is in Los Angeles. Okay, so you saw me out on the street with the cards, with the words, right? Mm-hmm. So Wendy, let's talk about this, the most powerful.
Too afraid to even say the words, weren't you?
Yeah, go ahead. So go ahead. Let's talk about the most powerful one. Okay, why do you think it makes people so uncomfortable?
Well, let's talk in general about what a taboo word is, okay? So it's a word that's been socially prohibited, and it tends to be prohibited both individually and institutionally. It's policed by authorities who literally punish people who use it, like we're seeing with Paula Deen, and maybe even in the courtroom, with the Zimmerman courtroom. So the taboo words are out there, but the thing that helps them retain their power, Don, is their non-usage. So the more they become taboo, the more they keep their power, and we get even more nervous about using them. Of course, now we're seeing a word, specifically the N-word, that is having different contextual uses. Different populations are using it in different ways. It may not have anger. So behavioralists are having, or people who research this, are having a hard time determining harm by the usage, and that's the main thing. Can we determine harm?
So Wendy, listen, I said the word, and you said the N-word. Do you think it's different? Like, do you have trouble saying that as a white woman?
Yeah, and you know, I think you and I had this conversation on the phone last week, is it because my children are biracial, and they're young, and they're trying to figure out how to use words, and they have friends of many different ethnicities, of course. My 10-year-old said the other day, well, Mom, if you're not allowed to say the N-word, but Daddy is, what's the rule for me? So what do you tell a multiracial child?
Yeah. Okay, so
and I didn't
Mark,
really have a good, clear answer.
Mark, so do you think we hurt ourselves by not using these words? Because I have to tell you, when I was researching this, you saw the SNL clip, right? And they said, you know, he goes nigger, and then the guy, and he does it. I've watched the Jeffersons, and they would say, you know, you remember back, what was the saying that they used to say? Nigger, please. Like, they said that on television in the